This is my fourth video comparing a few self-defense, for lack of a better word, insurance products. And this time, after some feedback, I called these 6 companies back and I probed specifically about what kind of oversight, regulation, how they decide whether to pay. I'm going to have a future video specifically focused on when they pay and how many of them will truly pay you up front and for what kind of services. But this is just focused on how they're regulated, what my recourse is. And they weren't all as friendly as when I initially called with some of the basic questions. So starting from the top, CCW Safe. Now, just a disclaimer, and I have this in the notes below. This is based on a phone call last Friday, as well as a couple of follow-ups today. And this is just what they told me, not saying it's accurate. Maybe I call back a second time, they tell me something completely different. I'm just reporting what I was told. So CCW Safe is not an insurance product, is not regulated. They have a committee that decides whether to pay, and there is no appeal process. Internally, no appeal process externally, and they will not share their membership numbers. Then you go to US CCA, which is spends a tremendous amount of money on advertising, but they also have the distinction of being the only company I know of that will ask for all their money back if you lose or take a plea deal. They say that they have a single policy that they purchase, and then all the members are listed on it. That it is regulated by the insurance industry, basically. And which is the whole reason for this video, to see if there's external oversight. That note 2 here, that they're covered by Universal Fire and Casualty Insurance Company. That it's the insurance company that will decide when to pay or whether to pay, and that you can appeal with the insurance company, and then you can also appeal with the state if you're not happy with their determination. And they have 704,000 members. Then third one down, ACLDN, which is endorsed by Masad Ayub, which sounds great, but more on that later. It's not an insurance. The money comes from a pool. It's not regulated, but it has a board. The board decides. The appeal is with the board and nothing outside. And about 20,000 members. Doesn't sound fantastic in terms of just, there's just no recourse if they decide not to pay. And I'm not sure exactly how they decide, but I know that they do. And, you know, that's what you get. I had a couple of emails with Masad about the insurance, and he told me that they've done about a dozen cases. They all had, he said, the best possible outcome, which when I really think about it and take apart, is a very meaningless statement. It just means, well, just what it says, right? But if the outcome was that they were never going to pay, the best outcome and the worst outcome are also the only outcome. So taken to its logical conclusion, it means nothing. Then you get to US Law Shield, the fourth one down. And they promised me a call back on Friday. And now it's what, 5 calendar days later. And I called them and I said, look, I want some answers. And they said, well, maybe they didn't call you back because we don't serve your state, which seems like a terrible reason not to call me back. But, you know, there you have it. Basically told me that the answers are going to vary by state, to which I told him he doesn't really know that, since he doesn't know what the questions are. And just kind of copped an attitude and told me he doesn't know when somebody could talk to me or whether they'll give me any answers. And I said, I'll just be happy to say that they won't provide any information on my review. And he said that that was fine. They have under 1 million members. Firearms legal protection. is an insurance in some places, and it is in my state of Rhode Island. It is regulated as such, and while they make the initial decision, if you're not happy with it, they have a neutral claims group. So there's a third-party arbitrator, and I really like that because they're able to make the decision, and yet there's recourse. And then they told me that, and I'm not sure if this makes 100% sense, but for those states where it's insurance, you can appeal with the state, but that it's still regulated. I hope I'm saying this wrong. Maybe it's backwards. I guess you appeal with the insurance where there's insurance, and with the state outside of that. I'm just not sure exactly how that works. But they made it sound like there was always a chance for an outside appeal and oversight, and they have 100,000 members. And then there's second call defense. It's not an insurance, but they have a foundation. It's not regulated. And we spent probably 15 minutes talking about this third question about who decides when to pay. And essentially it's lawyers. It's something like a group effort between the lawyer that they would hire you or that you found for yourself, as well as their lawyers, to decide what might be a legitimate claim. And the appeal is to the foundation, and there is no outside appeal. So again, there's really no recourse if they decide you're out of luck, and they have about 20,000 members. I suppose that's it.